Everyone, I am Dr. C.S. Kulkarni, MD, and I am going to teach medical biochemistry. Before I start a topic, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. In the last session, we had dealt with classification of lipids. Today, we will continue the same. Characteristics of common fatty acids, even chain and saturated fatty acids. Number 1, acetic acid. It has number of carbon atoms is 2. Chemical nature is saturated small chain fatty acids, and its occurrence is vinegar. Butyric acid. Number of carbon atom is 4. Chemical nature is same, and its occurrence is in butter. Caproic acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 6. Chemical nature is same, and occurrence is in butter. Capric acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 10. Number of chemical nature is same, and occurrence is in coconut oil. Lauric acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 12. Chemical nature is same, and occurrence is in a coconut oil. Myric acid. Number of carbon atoms is 14. Chemical nature is the same, and occurrence is in coconut oil. Palmitic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 16. Chemical nature is saturated long chain, and occurrence is in body fat. Stearic acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 18. Chemical nature is saturated long chain, and occurrence is in body fat. Arachidic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 20. Chemical nature is same, and occurrence is in peanut oil. Coming to odd chain fatty acids. Propionic acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 3. The chemical nature is saturated odd chain, and occurrence is in metabolism. Oleic acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 18. Its chemical nature is the same, and occurrence is also the same. Erucic acid. Its number of carbon atoms is 22. Chemical nature is same, and occurrence is in mustard oil. Nervonic acid. Its occurrence number of carbon atom is 24. Chemical nature is the same, and occurrence is in brain lipids. Linoleic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 18. The chemical nature is 2 double bonds, and occurrence is in vegetables oils. Linolenic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 18. Chemical nature is 3 double bonds, and occurrence is in vegetable oils. Arachidonic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 20. Chemical nature is 4 double bonds, and occurrence is vegetable oils. Timnodonic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 20. Chemical nature is icosapentaenoic acid, and occurrence is fish oils and brain. Glucuronidonic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 22, and chemical nature is glucosapentaenoic acid, and occurrence is in fish oils and brain. Cervonic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 22. Chemical nature is docosahexaenoic, and occurrence is in fish oils and brain. Next, coming to branched chain fatty acids. Isovaleric acid. Number of carbon atoms is 5, and its chemical nature is branched chain, and occurrence is a metabolic intermediate. Coming to hydroxy fatty acids. Sereptonic acid. Number of carbon atoms is 24, and chemical nature is a hydroxy acid, and occurrence is in brain and lipids. Coming to saturated fatty acids, they have the general formula CH3 into bracket CH2 bracket complete and COH. For example, acetic acid, its formula is CH3COOH. Butyric acid, its formula is CH3 into the bracket CH2 bracket complete 2 COH. Palmitic acid, its formula is CH3 into bracket CH2 bracket complete 14 COH. Stearic acid, its formula is CH3 into the bracket CH2 bracket complete 16 COH. They are named by adding the suffix anoic after the hydrocarbon. The 2-carbon acetic acid and 4-carbon butyric acid are important metabolic intermediates. The C16 palmitic acid and C18 stearic acid are most abundant in body fat. Each animal species will have characteristic pattern of fatty acid composition. Thus, human body fat contains 50% oleic acid, 25% palmitic acid, 10% linoleic acid, and 5% stearic acid. The carbon atoms of fatty acids are numbered as C1, C2, etc., starting from COH group. On the other hand, starting from the methyl end, the carbon atoms may be numbered as omega 1, 2, 3, etc. In this diagram, 1, 2, 3 is starting from COH group, whereas the omega 1, omega 2, etc. starts from methyl group. Coming to classification of fatty acids, depending on total number of carbon atoms, A. Even chain. They have a carbon atoms 2, 4, 6 and similar series. Most of the naturally occurring lipids contain even chain fatty acids. B. Odd chain. They have carbon atoms 3, 5, 7, etc. Odd chain number fatty acids are seen in microbial cell walls. They are also present in milk. Depending on the length of hydrocarbon chain, short chain with 2 to 6 carbon atoms, medium chain with 8 to 14 carbon atoms, long chain with 16 to 22 carbon atoms, and very long chain fatty acids containing more than 24 carbon. Depending on the nature of hydrocarbon, it may be saturated fatty acids or unsaturated fatty acids, which may be sub-classified into monounsaturated, that is monoenoic having single double bond, or polyunsaturated having polyenoic with 2 or more double bonds. Then third, it can be branched chain fatty acids or it can be hydroxy fatty acids. They are named after by adding the suffix enoic after the systematic name regarding unsaturated fatty acids. They are similar to saturated fatty acids in the reaction of the carboxylic group, but also show properties due to the presence of double bond. Unsaturated fatty acids exhibit geometrical isomerism at the double bonds. All the naturally occurring fatty acids have the cis configuration. However, in the body during metabolism, trans fatty acids are also formed. The polyunsaturated fatty acids exist in cis configuration in naturally occurring lipids. Coming to clinical significance of PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Linoleic and linolenic acid are polyunsaturated fatty acids. They are called essential fatty acids because they cannot be synthesized by the body and have to be supplied in the diet. Unsaturated fatty acids are also designated omega-3 family and linolenic acid, that is omega-6 family, then linoleic acid and arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is the precursor of prostaglandins. Arachidonic acid can be synthesized in the body if the essential fatty acids are supplied in the diet. The pentaenoic acid present in fish oils is of great nutritional importance. Icosanoids, that is icosa meaning 20, are derived from 20 carbon arachidonic acid. They are polyenoic fatty acids. They are prostanoids. It means they are a precursor of prostaglandins, prostacyclins, and thromboxanes, and leukotrienes. Many clinical and epidemiological studies have shown positive roles for omega 3 fatty acids in development. Example: cancer, cardiovascular diseases, mental illnesses, depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and dementia. These fatty acids are known to have pleiotropic effects, including effects against inflammation, platelet aggregation, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. These beneficial effects may be mediated through several distinct mechanisms, including alterations in cell membrane composition and function, gene expression, and eicosanoid products. Coming to trans fatty acids, that is TFA, they are present in dairy products and in hydrogenated edible oils. They are generally considered to be injurious to health. However, they are used in food industry as they increase the shelf life of the fried food. Oils containing PUFA is also have high content of TFA. Fast food preparations have a high TFA content. They adversely affect the multiple risk factors including plasma lipids and lipoproteins, systemic inflammation, endothelial dysfunction, insulin resistance, diabetes, and adiposity. It is high in processed food and bakery product where partially hydrogenated vegetable oils are used for cooking. Coming to the properties of fatty acids. First, hydrogenation. Unsaturated fatty acids may be converted to the corresponding saturated fatty acids by hydrogenation of the double bond. Example: linoleic acid. With the addition of two hydrogen atoms, use linoleic acid. This, with addition of two more hydrogen atoms, gives oleic acid. And finally, it with two hydrogen atoms use stearic acid. Hydrogenation of oils can lead to solidification and saturation. Example: vanaspati. Coming to second property, halogenation. When treated with halogens under mild conditions, the unsaturated fatty acids can take up two halogen atoms at each double bond to form halogenated derivative of fatty acids. Example: oleic acid and I2, they give diiodoic acid. The number of halogen atoms taken up with will depend on the number of carbon atoms and is an index of desaturation. The short and medium chain fatty acids are liquids, whereas long chain fatty acids are solids at 25 degrees centigrade. The solubility in water decreases while melting and boiling points increase with the increase in chain length. The unsaturated fatty acids have a lower melting point compared to saturated fatty acids with the same chain length. For example, stearic acid C18 fatty acids having no double bond has a melting point 69 degrees centigrade, whereas oleic acid has a 13 degrees centigrade melting point. Linoleic acid has minus 5 degree centigrade, whereas linoleic acid has minus 10 degrees centigrade. Coming to salt formation, saturated and unsaturated fatty acids form salts with alkali. CH3COH plus NaOH gives CH3CONA plus H2O. Sodium and potassium salts are long chain fatty acids are called soaps. Sodium, calcium and magnesium soaps are insoluble. Calcium soaps are used in glass, grease. Alkyl sulfate and alkyl sulfonate are not precipitated by hard water and are used as detergents. Coming to the fifth property, ester formation. Both saturated and unsaturated fatty acids form esters with alcohols, especially glycerol. Fatty acids can form mono, di, or tri esters with alcohol groups of glycerol. Triglycerides or triacyl glycerols are also known as neutral fat. For example, glycerol plus fatty acids use monoacyl glycerol. This plus one more fatty acid give diacylglycerol, and then diacylglycerol plus one more fatty acids give triacylglycerol or triglyceride. Coming to the next property, oxidation of fatty acids. All fatty acids, including oxidation in the body to give energy. Beta oxidation is the major process by which acids are oxidized. However, the unsaturated fatty acids can undergo auto-oxidation due to the presence of highly reactive double bond, and a variety of products. Here ends our session. Kindly like, share, and subscribe the channel. Thank you.